They get to, telling my mother, like, look, we don't think he being truthful. We think he knows something. We think he probably know who did it, did this and that. Your son be in this neighborhood. And my mother, like, she'd tell him what you know. I'm like, I don't know nothing. I don't know what these people want from me because I don't know nothing. Like, I don't know what happened and shit. Then it got to the point where I started crying. I'm like, Mom, I'm telling you, I can't tell these people nothing because I don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? And she like, shit, he telling y'all he don't know nothing. Like, what y'all trying to use me to get it out of him. He don't know nothing. So she like, you know what I'm saying, baby, just tell him the truth. I'm like, Mom, I'm telling him the truth. I swear, I don't know nothing. And she like, he's saying he don't know nothing. So they like, look, do us a favor. Can you sign this waiver? And we just gonna talk to him one more time. But my mom like, he don't know nothing. They're like, look, we just want to talk to him one more time. My mom like, he got to be in school tomorrow because I was supposed to went and picked up my schedule. And they like, we promise he'll be back before school. We promise he gonna be back before school. We promise. She signed the waiver and they took me down to the station. And once they got me in the car, that's when I knew it was different because like their whole attitudes, the way they was talking,
Yeah.
like they was just talking tough, and
The
being all on
detectives?
that. Yeah. So.
Okay, so let me back up. So something pop off. You not even aware that it pop off, right? How did they come to arrest you? Like, why did they choose you?
And I listen to my mother to this day because she had came in the house like a couple minutes before I even went outside, and she like, something just happened, police everywhere, and she like, don't go outside. You feel me? But I wasn't, I
Yeah.
wasn't listening. So I had
One
just,
time you ain't listen.
yeah, I had just got done talking to a female, and she like, yeah, come over. I'm like, cool.
Oh, that's why you ain't listen. It's the pussy. The pussy will get you messed up every time.
Man,
Many a kingdoms has fallen.
yes, and I was geeked, I'm like, shit, okay, come on, She's like, my mama ain't here. I'm like, cool, and she only lived like 3 blocks away, and I done made this trip hella times before, so it ain't, I wasn't thinking too much of it. Went outside, started walking up the block. As I was walking up the block, I seen the big ass canine coming around the corner. So I stopped. I'm like, damn, like what's this dog doing out? Then I seen it had a leash on it, a long leash. After that, I seen it was a canine handler with he had the canine. Then I seen detectives going from door to door. So I get the I s- keep going by my business. I keep walking and stuff. The next thing you know, that's when they approach me, get to ask me questions like, where you from? What's your name? Where you live at? Have you heard anything? Have you saw anything? I'm like, hold on, wait. Nothing. I live down the street. My name Devontae. They're like, where you going? How old is you? I'm like, look, I was on my way on road and did this and that. And at the time, I had told them, my auntie, she was she was like dating this retired cop, like for the head of homicide. And I'm like, well, I just came from being with him, and he was like very known at the time. And they like, oh, we know him. They hopped on the phone, they called him. He like, yeah, he just came. I just dropped him off at home. But he told him he be in that neighborhood, so he probably knows something,
Yeah.
or whatever. So they're like, they hand me the phone. I talked to him. He like, do my friends help him out? I'm like, shit, I don't know nothing. I don't know what's going on, what's what. And they took me home. They talked to my grandmother. They had my grandmother sign a consent. And at the time, my grandma didn't really like understand or know what she was doing.
Yeah.
My grandmother was on drugs, so yeah, man. And
So nobody even really knew like that. You ain't got to say nothing. But you was a 14-year-old kid.
yeah,
So your grandmother signed a consent form.
and I think they knew that. I think like the police, like it ain't take them long to understand what type of situation like we was living in. You got to think when we went to my house, like my door didn't even have doorknobs. What you know what I'm saying? Like you go to somebody's
Yeah.
house, door ain't got doorknobs. You know what I'm saying? Like house look, so they like, come on, man, it don't take too much there to even. So And I think they took advantage of that. They exploited that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that whole little situation. And she signed it. They took me to the crime scene. They gave me a gunshot ballistics test.
They took you straight to the crime scene
From my house. And I didn't even know this at the time, but it was the crime scene. They took me to the crime scene, and a guy came up, and he was like, "Look, how you doing?" Talking all friendly and shit to me, nice. And he was like, "I got to do something." And he opened the back door, and they get to like hitting my hands, my face. I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" Come to find out, they was giving me a gunshot ballistics test. So they gave me a gunshot ballistics test, like for residue, to check and see if I had any type of residue on me. Couldn't find no residue on me, like when they ran the test and things like that. They took me down to the station, got me something to eat, asked me was I hungry. I told them yeah.
They played good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, I swear. Took me to the station, and like that, the first night it wasn't really like it was just like normal questions and where you from, like the neighborhood, or who you think could do something. I'm like, shit, I don't know, and shit like that. And the first night they had me sign a statement. They took me down when I stayed there all night.
So you was basically arrested.
I wasn't arrested yet. That was the crazy thing about it. They just held me. They just held me. Like they had me sleeping on a couch at like one of the detective's office or something, like that whole night.
Was you scared?
I was. It was cold as fuck in there, for real. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I'm like, what the fuck? So
Did you feel like you was in trouble? Like, did you feel like something was about to happen that was bad? Because obviously nobody.
yeah, wasn't nobody, like my mama ain't nobody called for me. I didn't really know until the next morning they came. They're like, look, we finna take you home. I'm like, okay, cool. And before they took me home, they wound up taking me to the prosecutor office. And I guess like they probably told the prosecutor, like, look, we got this young guy, we think it's.
Wait. You talking about Kim Worthy office?
Yeah, they took me straight. I went to her office. I went to the prosecutor office. They had me in the prosecutor office. I believe they went back there. They spoke with her. They were speaking with her for a couple minutes. And the thing was, they wanted to give me a lie detector test. And she didn't want to give me a lie detector test because she felt as if like I was too young.
Okay.
So they didn't give it to me. So what they did was they took me home and they dropped me off. And when I went home, mind you, I had been there all night. So I had took a shower and I went outside for maybe like an hour, 2 hours. Then I went back in the house and just went to sleep. I wasn't feeling it. And when I woke back up because I hear somebody knocking on the door. And it was them coming, like they was coming to get me that night. So as I was on the couch, I went to go wake up. My grandma opened the door for them. Okay. They come to the couch. They're like, look, we put your shoes on. We want to talk to you again. And I'm like, shit, I told you I don't know nothing, So by that time, my mother was home this time, the second time. So my grandma go get my mother. I go in the back room, grab my shoes, come back out. I'm sitting on the couch. My mother is sitting in the middle. Two of the detectives is sitting on each side of her. So they talking to my mother. They got me sitting on the couch. And they get to, telling my mother, like, look, we don't think he being truthful. We think he knows something. We think he probably know who did this and that. Your son be in this neighborhood. And my mother, like, she'd tell him what you know. I'm like, I don't know nothing. I don't know what these people want from me because I don't know nothing. Like, I don't know what happened and shit. Then it got to the point where I started crying. I'm like, Ma, I'm telling you, I can't tell these people nothing because I don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? And she like, shit, he telling y'all he don't know nothing. Like, what y'all trying to use me to get it out of him. He don't know nothing, So she like, you know what I'm saying? Baby, just tell him the truth. I'm like, Mom, I'm telling him the truth. I swear, I don't know nothing. And she like, he's saying he don't know nothing. So they're like, look, do us a favor. Can you sign this waiver? And we just gonna talk to him one more time. But my mom like, he don't know nothing. They're like, look, we just want to talk to him one more time. My mom like, he got to be in school tomorrow because I was supposed to went and picked up my schedule. And they like, we promise he'll be back before school. We promise he gonna be back before school. We promise. She signed the waiver and they took me down to the station. And once they got me in the car, that's when I knew it was different because like their whole attitudes, the way they was talking.
Yeah.
Like they was just talking tough, you know, and
The
being all on
detectives?
that. Yeah, yeah.